Hey guys, Mr. Dalek JD here to present you with a really interesting Black Ops 2 video. Now, if you go on the Call of Duty channel for the reveal trailer, they have an interactive option, and in this option, during the trailer, you can click onto 5 different chapters which reveal stuff about the backstory behind the game and the futuristic setting. Now, what I've done for you guys is I've put it all together, so we've got a really interesting little documentary which is insanely professionally done. If this is what I love about Treyarch. They always set the bar higher than any other developer when it comes to the amount of effort they put into this. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do, feel free to like the video and leave a comment on what you think. This is absolutely insane stuff. Hope you guys enjoy.
The airplane. No one thinks they're possible. In fact, in 1903, the New York Times said it would take from 1 to 10 million years to build the first working flying machine. They said that's the same exact year that the Wright brothers start to build the first working flying machine. Moore's law, the idea that our technology is getting more and more advanced year after year after year, that's definitely happening. Now, the interesting thing is what happens next. If the pace of technologic change stays the same, within 25 years, our technologies, our computers, our robots will be 1 billion times more powerful than today.
The technology of the day is such that the most sophisticated weapons and equipment ever divined by the hand and mind of man are used by special operators, those who commit themselves to the life of black operations. The pairing of a special operator with remarkable technology that allows them to see from overhead, to see at night what's out in front of them, to detonate something on top of an enemy is extraordinary. It's what makes our black operators so remarkably lethal on the battlefield.
When you're able to see around corners, see through walls, and move cameras into positions that you wouldn't be able to move without putting yourself at risk, that's going to create even more of an advantage.
With these technologies, with robotics in particular, the next generation are going to be even more advanced and used in even greater numbers.
Probably the best illustration I can give of how fast technology has gone and how much it's changing what's possible in war or not. One of those little greeting cards that you open up and plays a song
has more computing power than the entire US Army had when the Vietnam War started. That's technology's impact on war. There's this pattern in history where there's technologies that are in the realm of science fiction, and then they become real, and then they're used in war. The drone
was just a flying pair of binoculars. And then they see the bad guy, and they want to do something about it.
And then they specially designed robotics to be armed. They can carry 3,000 pounds of bombs and missiles. Our invasion force went into Iraq with 0 of these unmanned aerial systems, or drones as they're sometimes called. The US military right now has more than 7,000 of these systems.
They're comforting when you hear the hum of the drones above, and especially when you're in a real bad neighborhood in the middle of Baghdad and you can't see them, it's in the middle of the night, but you can hear them.
Today, with an unmanned aerial vehicle, you can fire a Hellfire missile 3 feet from a friendly and have no friendly casualties and take out the enemy on the other side of a wall. You couldn't do that 15 years ago.
A lot of this will sound like things out of science fiction. Some we've even gotten the ideas for them out of science fiction.
Lasers made real, exoskeletons, camouflage thought of in an entirely new way. The full range of unmanned systems or robotics that's being used in war, it's almost like going to the zoo and saying, what animals are they? Now we're seeing them taking their ideas from nature. The future is not as far off as most people think. We all have software glitches. They happen all the time. Last year, one computer in Atlanta shut down the entire US airspace. Over 600 passenger jets all had to land immediately because of one software glitch Some of these examples of what people in the robotics industry call oops moments. This comes from a vice president at a robotics company that makes things for the US military. And he said, when things don't work out with your robot, it's just an oops moment. About 2 years ago in South Africa, there was a military training exercise, and an automated anti-aircraft cannon was supposed to fire upwards into the sky. And instead, because of what an investigative report called a software glitch, it leveled and it started firing in a circle. It killed 9 soldiers before it ran out of ammunition. What do we do in response to these oops moments that actually killed people? Now apply that over to war, and we get some really disturbing things that have already happened, and of course, really worrisome scenarios in the future.
And something we've invested in heavily are these drones. And the drones are a little more than airframes and programming, but the programming is something we have to protect. Something that we have to make sure that no one gains access to or hacks into.
There have been unmanned aerial vehicles that have been lost. They've been perhaps commandeered by a hostile power. I have a nightmare scenario that a hacker breaks into our system, takes control of an unmanned aerial vehicle, and delivers that ordnance that's aboard it, protecting American troops, and instead fires them at those troops.
We may have the best technology, but someday down the road, your enemy's going to use it against you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
There's no such thing as a good or a bad technology. Robotics is the same. It's essentially a computer that can get up and walk or get up and fly. It's the users and their intent that determines whether its impact is good or bad.
You know, if there are guys out there who are smart enough to hack into our banks and people's personal information, then certainly, eventually, there's going to be someone who's smart enough to hack into our aircraft. If you can hack a bank, you can hack a drone.
You know, there's going to come a time when our technology is going to catch up with us. I don't worry about a guy that wants to hijack a plane. I worry about the guy who wants to hijack all the planes. There are those who are saying that in the future you won't need soldiers that can all be fought by robots. I would beg to differ. You want to know what the war of the future looks like? Just look around. The future is with black ops.
Black ops are so imperative these days because you can use methods that aren't visible. We have the best equipment and we have the best capabilities to be able to deploy anywhere in the world within 24 hours. You combine that with the technology of the future and we're unstoppable at this point.
The reality of life as we know it on this planet today is the enemy could be anywhere and it could be anyone.
Our teams are capable of operating with nothing. But right now I've got a robot flying above me, laser-guided weapons, guys on radios that can talk back to the United States, and I've got so much technology down there that it is like being in a futuristic movie.
Our special operators have a message for those who would bring harm to us. That message is, you can run, but you'll only die tired.
And for any of you restless viewers, there is a evaluation video basically which sums up all of these chapters into one little video. So if you guys have skipped the video ahead to this part, then here it is. But if you've managed to stick by, then well done. I hope you guys enjoyed this documentary because it's insane. The amount of effort that Treyarch put into these is just phenomenal.
You want to know what the war of the future is going to look like? I don't think the average American grasps how violent war is about to become.
The next few years are going to see a wide array of technology that allows you to blow things up, to kill, in a way we've never seen before in history. A lot of these will sound like things out of science fiction. Things like directed energy, which is basically lasers made real. Exoskeletons. Camouflage thought of an entirely new way. They're getting smarter. The weapon itself is becoming more independent. What happens next?
There's going to come a time when this technology is going to catch up with us. I have a nightmare scenario that a hacker breaks into our system that controls satellites, UAVs, even the launch of missiles. Consider what it would be like to have friendly fire from U.S. weapons overhead.
The disconnect between how fast the technology is coming and our reaction time, the distance between those two is growing. Some of the most advanced technologies are not just going to be in the hands of the big boys anymore. What if terrorists could get their hands on this?
There is no longer a defined battle space. The enemy could be anywhere, and it could be anyone. I don't worry about a guy that wants to hijack a plane. I worry about the guy who wants to hijack all the planes.
The future is not as far off as most people think. We're not ready for it.